Thank you so much for coming to Warehouse of Hope today. Let's begin your first-time guest orientation. Warehouse of Hope began in 1994 due to a lot of the struggles that me and my family started to face. At 9 years old, I started losing vision in my right eye. As we went to doctor's appointments, I was referred to Scottish Rite. There, they did a lot of tests and found out that I had a genetic disorder called neurofibromatosis. They found 2 tumors in my right optic nerve, and they found out that the tumors had destroyed my right optic nerve and told me I would never see out of that eye again. In the midst of my diagnosis, my dad's health started to deteriorate. On our way to church one Sunday, he didn't feel quite right, and we rushed him to the emergency room. There, he went into full cardiac arrest, and he had a heart attack at age 36. He had 6 bypasses and open heart surgery. As you can imagine, this started a whirlwind of events and change in our lives that we could have never imagined. As our health suffered, so did our finances, and my dad was down for a couple of months, and he had a lot of time to hear God, and God was leading his life into a totally different direction. A lot of times things happen in our lives to give us understanding of what others might be going through. If you've never been there yourself, then how can you have compassion for other people and what they are going through? That is exactly what God was doing with our family. We started to understand that there were a lot of people going through times just like our family was going through, but in '94 there were not food banks on every corner, and you were unable to get government assistance unless you were disabled or elderly. God showed us that food insecurity was a big problem in our community. And when my dad was finally able to go back to work, he chose to not go back to the job that he had been at for 18 years. To his boss, to his family, and to the world, it seemed crazy. But God's plan in our life doesn't always make sense to us. If you choose to follow His will, though, He can turn something ordinary into something beautiful. So through the community, we started collecting non-perishable food items. We would deliver these food items to people who were elderly and homebound. Family friends decided they wanted to help, and they built a 200 square foot building on our personal property so there would be a place to store donations and make the food boxes. As he continued delivering food boxes to the community, he realized the need was not limited to elderly and the homebound. He knew that we needed more resources, but how? Prayer was the answer. As he started to pray, God gave him an opportunity to serve more families. As he drove a school bus, God also led him to deliver Domino's pizzas. At this same time, God provided us with the opportunity to rent a warehouse. This is where our 501c3 food bank status became established. This gave people a place to come to and receive food. Through lots of prayer, time, and support from our community, God gave us a connection to receive a transfer truckload of food every single week. This gave us the ability to serve more families than we could have ever imagined. Then we had the opportunity to buy the land, to build the warehouse that you sit in today. We do now serve over 500 families a week. When things look bleak and like your life is falling apart, sometimes God is putting your life exactly where it needs to be. For us as a family, we could have never imagined that God was taking our struggle and turning it into a testimony called Warehouse of Hope. I'm not sure what brought you here today, or if you're going through your own personal struggle, but I've learned that life is tough. When I was diagnosed with my disease, doctors told me that if my tumors continued to grow, that I would lose my life. This caused me to live life a little crazy. I moved out when I was 16 years old. I was married by 20. My husband at the time was very, very abusive, and I put up with it for a lot longer than I should have. I truly believed that if I prayed hard enough and that I was good enough, that things would change. Unfortunately, one day my little girl at 2.5 witnessed the abuse. And I didn't realize at the time, but God had given me this precious girl to give me the strength to walk away. I never wanted my daughter to think that it was okay to be abused by a man. We went through a really terrible divorce, and after it was all said and done, I felt like I had been defeated and that my life had fallen apart. I felt like God had abandoned me, and I felt lost. I started feeling sorry for myself, and things continued to get worse until a friend of mine decided to drag me to church one Sunday. As I went to church that Sunday, very begrudgingly, the pastor began to preach on how hard life is. As he taught about this, he says, it's easy for us to praise the Lord and thank Him when things are going our way. But what do we do when things get tough? We've been told by people that God will not give you more than you can handle. But nowhere in the Bible does it tell you that life will be easy. God doesn't expect you to handle it. He expects you to hand it over to Him. He doesn't want you to rely on your own strength, but His. We are setting ourselves up for failure if we think we can do it on our own. And guess what? God knew this. He He knew that we would struggle and He knew that we would fail. And He said in John 3:16, "For God so loved the world that He gave His only Son, that whosoever believeth in Him should not perish, but have everlasting life." We are all a mess and we all fall short. And that is why we can never be good enough or work hard enough to get into heaven. John 14:6, Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father but through me." If we truly believe that Jesus was sent to the earth, that He was sinless, and that He died on the cross for payment of our sins, and that 3 days later He rose again, God will take your mess and He will turn it into a testimony. That is exactly what He did for me. I am living proof that God is still in the miracle working business because I'm still alive. Warehouse of Hope is proof that even though things have come against us, that God allows us to still be here to welcome people just like you. If you would like a Bible or prayer, please let us know because that is exactly what we are here for. Now, you are part of the Warehouse of Hope family. What exactly does that mean? That means that you can come see us every single week. You have 3 options every week that you come to Warehouse of Hope. Your first option is you can come and volunteer at Warehouse of Hope. If you come and volunteer, you can come in once a week and get the 2 bags. If you can't volunteer, you can always come in once a week and get a pre-made food box. If you can't volunteer and you don't want to receive a food box, you can become a Warehouse of Hope partner. Our biggest overhead expense here at Warehouse of Hope is our transfer truckload of food that we get every week. It costs us $2,100 a week. When you are a partner with Warehouse of Hope, you can donate $10 for 2 bags or $20 for 4 bags. When you do that, you're able to go on our shopping line and pick out what goes home to your family. We do not receive any government grants or backing, so your donation truly is life-changing for us when and if you're able to do that. Today, since it is your first visit and you didn't know what to expect, we are going to give you 2 bags. But please, the next time you come back, bring your own reusable shopping bags. Always have your picture ID out and ready. That is how we will check you in. Once you check in at the front desk, you will be given a ticket to check in at our gray door. Once you hand in your ticket at the gray door, you are able to open up your bags and set them on the table. You will then scoot your bags down as you go because at the end of the line, there are grocery carts for you to take your stuff out to your car. Our shelves are listed with red alphabetical letters. Please shop alphabetically, that way you do not miss anything. On top of our shelves being listed alphabetically, they are listed with limits. Please do not take more than the limits allow. Big items like number 10 cans and 2 liters of Coke do not need to fit in your bag. Just set them on the table and scoot them down with your bags. Please pack well because we do want you to go home with as much as possible. If you have a child who is under the age of 4 that needs diapers, pull-ups, or good nights, you have to be the parent or legal guardian, bring in the child's birth certificate or their confirmation of birth. Once you bring in this information, you will be able to get those every week that you shop. If you are an adult over the age of 50 that needs Depends or Poise, we will get those for you. You just have to get a specific ticket at the front desk to turn in, and you can get those when you shop. We also have a clothing ministry that offers you so many pieces of clothing every month for free. At the front desk, you will be given your clothing voucher, and that allows you to get your free clothing. Please keep up with the voucher. After you go over your allotted free items, most clothing is only 50 cents an item for a donation. Once again, that money for clothing that you donate goes back to keep our operation afloat. We want to thank you for your visit today, and we hope you enjoy your experience. We do hope that you come on a weekly basis. If you would, please like us on Facebook and share it, or if you would like to pass out our flyers, we can give you some of those because you never know who might be struggling in your life that could use this information. My name is Emma. I am the director here. Please know anytime you have any concerns or questions, that is what I'm here for. God bless you and your family, and we hope to see you back.